signature game for Giannis so far in his young career. With his 41 points and 13 boards, the Greek Freak became just the third player ever to put up back-to-back 40-point double-doubles in the finals, joining LeBron James back in 2016 and Shaq in 2000 when he was with the Lakers. After the first two games of the series, the Bucks, they switch into a different gear. Milwaukee's 10-2 in games 3 through 7 of the series this postseason. The other 7 teams to win at that rate in the last 20 postseasons all won a world title. Devin Booker averaged nearly 30 points in games 1 and 2, but last night was a different story in Game 3. The Suns guard played just 29 minutes, finished with 10 points, his fewest in a game this postseason. Booker left that game late in the third quarter and did not return. For much more in the series, let's go to Milwaukee as Malika Andrews is covering the Bucks and joins us now live on an off day. Malika, Giannis, he was terrific last night. What are the Bucks saying about what he was able to do in Game 3?
Well, Kevin, he's had dominant games before in this series, but this is the first time that dominance translated to a win. And yeah, he was dominant with his own scoring, but he was also really aggressive in looking for his teammates. What Giannis Antetokounmpo has done, he's had a 40-point game in this series before, but Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, they struggled. And Chris Middleton told me yesterday that when Giannis is playing like that, like he did in that game, that it opens up the floor for everybody else and allows them to play a little bit better. So you saw a better collaborative group effort. And Mike Budenholzer said, look, we ask a lot of Giannis Antetokounmpo, but he absolutely delivered.
What did the Bucks learn, though, in last night's win that they're hoping to carry over in Game 4 to even this series, Malika?
Well, that they need to be aggressive from the jump. And that's something that you can know, but to execute it and see it work in practice, that's something a little bit different. And what Giannis said that he really liked is they got better from Game 1 to Game 2, Game 2 to Game 3. And their task now is going to be to level up once again in Game 4. He said before in this series, he knows that both teams have so much talent. So really, he believes this is going to come down to who has the mental edge. He said for Game 4, it's absolutely going to be the case. Who comes out mentally sharp? Who's aggressive from the jump? He said, in order for us to win, what he told me after the game to win Game 4 and to win this series is we need to bring it, Kevin.
Okay, we are just over 48 hours away.
To stop Phoenix, which jumped out early. Devin Booker with 16 of his 22 in the first half when the Suns set the tone offensively. And then Chris Paul, as he has done so often in these playoffs, took over. Taking advantage of defensive switches, he went for 27 through 3 quarters and kept it up with a 32-point night, 9 assists along the way. Booker actually finished with 27, and a monster night from DeAndre Ayton with 22 points and 19 rebounds, historic in fact, as Phoenix wins it 118 to 105. Welcome in, it's Game Time Live at the Finals, presented by YouTube TV. We got our friends behind us, we got champions here on the set, Steve Smith, Isaiah Thomas, and joining us remotely, Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny Smith. I'll turn to the fellas who are in the arena along with us. First of all, so great to be here and to have this atmosphere again for the finals. What struck you about Game 1 here, Smitty?
Well, it started off, Isaiah, when you looked at it, Devin Booker set the tone for me in the first quarter, getting a chance to get in rhythm. But in that third quarter, I still can't understand how they going to quit switching 1-5 pick and roll, and Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and the entire Suns team got whatever they wanted in that third quarter with that 1-5 switching the pick and rolls of the Milwaukee Bucks. Adjustments, not for the Milwaukee Bucks.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, that's the thing that stood out to me the most. Chris Paul in the third quarter, Devin Booker really taking turns against Lopez. They figured out the Milwaukee defense. Once they figured out the defense, they let Paul play in the middle of the floor. And you cannot let a point guard this good with this kind of skill stay in the middle of the floor, matched up against a 7-foot center. It's a point guard's dream, and Chris Paul lived it tonight.
Brook Lopez is a much improved defensive player, but he is a fish out of water in that situation against Paul or Booker. Likewise, Bobby Portis. They were targeting him when Lopez came out of the game. Bucks went a little smaller at the beginning of the fourth quarter, and that's something to watch for as this series progresses. Shaq, for you, watching at home, what's your takeaway from Game 1?
Well, I thought, Phoenix played well. I thought the others played great. DeAndre Ayton, as a big man, Great start his first finals. I'm really proud of him. It's nice, and Isaiah and Steve and Kenny knows about this. It's nice when you can have a 1-2 punch. First half was all Devin Booker, and then that third quarter, Chris Paul said, "You know what? This is my first finals. I'm going to work. I know what I got to do." But the others played great. The dancer played great. He played with great energy. They fed off the energy off the crowd, and they did what they're supposed to do. As for Milwaukee, if they're going to win, the 1-2 punch for Milwaukee has to be remarkable. In the pregame we talked about the two meetings between Milwaukee and Phoenix. How Giannis averaged 40. He's gonna have to probably average around that, to get a win.
Kenny, to you, what'd you see here in Game 1 tonight?
Well, I'm probably going to reiterate what Steve and Isaiah said. First of all, you think about this. If Chris Paul was guarding Lopez in the post, would they come double? You'd be like, yeah, they come double him. So why, when Lopez is guarding Chris Paul on the perimeter, that you allow him to play one-on-one? It's like it looks like the silliest thing that you've ever seen. If you're a point guard at any magnitude who can score the basketball, you go, this is exactly what I want. If you're a post guy, you go, this is what I want. So I don't understand it. It looks very similar to Atlanta Game 1 when they had the drop defense, and that didn't work against Trae Young. They're going to have to make the adjustment, either go small or you're going to have to double the pick and roll or hedge and get over. You cannot allow – you would never let Brook Lopez play one-on-one in the post against Chris Paul. No team would do that. So why would you do it in reverse? That's the logic if you're a fan at home. That's how simple it is.
Yeah, it was baffling for those of us watching it take place because of how long it went on for the Bucks with this defensive switching and putting Lopez and then Portis out on that island repeatedly.
Isaiah, Matt, Kenny, and Shaq, I understand if the guy couldn't get over, he got hung up on the pick. But it was almost an automatic switch. It was easy. Yeah. If you're going to come out, you got to at least try to get over, like Kenny said. Also, for me, is fight as the team. I'm going to make an adjustment if the coach is not going to make an adjustment. We're going to do something differently because it was just too easy. It looks like they was playing practice run through the offense against the Milwaukee Bucks defense.
So
I do have a question, if I could ask.
Yeah, please.
Isaiah, if you played in this modern day era and you could just pick out the defender and say, that's the guy I want to guard me because they're going to switch. How many? Now, you almost did you lead the league in scoring one year or come close to it? I don't remember. You and Kelly Chapuka. But how many points in game would you average? Because you're very similar in size and stature. In a season, if you could pick out every single time which guy to guard.
I mean, easy 40, especially if they're going to let me shoot the basketball as often as the point guard gets to shoot it. Really easy 40 because now I'm shooting layups and I'm getting any shot that I want against a big man. I mean, it really is unfair to have a big man guard a small man out on the perimeter, and because all you're going to do is take him to the basket. Like I say, Chris Paul got a chance to live his